Hi, I'm Mike Bellevue, and today we're back at Duelist Den, and we're going to be shooting Captain Schaeffer's revolver. Now, this is made by Pietta in Italy. It's imported by E.M.F in Santa Ana, California, and it is a replica of an actual gun from the 19th century. So, let me tell you a little bit more about it. We'll load it up, see how it does on the range. So as I said, Pietta is actually copying a real revolver. This was a custom revolver ordered in 1856 by Captain F.B. Schaeffer. And he was a Mexican War veteran. He was also a captain of the Marion Rifles, which was a California volunteer division that operated from 1852 until 1861. And when the unit was disbanded, he subsequently fought in the Civil War for the Confederacy. So a real guy and a real gun, complete custom piece. Well, the original gun was silver plated, and it was factory engraved by Gustav Young, who is one of Colt's premier engravers. So it's truly a beautiful gun. Now, the Pietta replica is not silver plated. It's white steel. It's basically plain steel been treated for corrosion. And the engraving doesn't exactly match Gustav Young's, but it's kind of in the spirit. And it's laser engraving. And I have to say, it has come a long way from where it used to be. The barrel length is 4 inches long, and it's a very handy little piece. Of course, the original had elephant ivory grips, and this gun does not. So I guarantee you that no elephants were harmed to make the E.M.F grips. These are purely man-made material known as polyivory, or what I like to say, Naugatusk. Comes from the Naga monster, the same beast that produces Naga hide, pleather, and faux fur. So, absolutely safe to the elephants, but still a very attractive handgun. Alright, let's get the Captain Schaeffer loaded up. And now, I'm only going to load 5. And I'm going to put the hammer down in an empty chamber. And I know that some of you guys are going to just grate me to death, and you're going to say, hey, it's got safety pins, you can lower the hammer between chambers and load 6, and that's what they would have done today, and that's true. But you know, I grew up loading 5 in all single actions, and I just don't see any reason to change now. I don't need the 6 shot to stop, you know, that horde of rampaging Cheyenne warriors or anything. And I don't want to change my procedure from cap and ball to cartridge guns. And, you know, I'm quite comfortable loading 5. So if you want to load 6, go ahead. There's nothing wrong with that. But if I want to load 5, there's nothing wrong with that either. So you don't have to, you know, take a poop on me in the contents, because that's the way I want to do it in the comments. Alright, so here's what we're going to do. We got 375 diameter round balls. We got lubed wads. We got 3F Go-X powder. I'm going to be loading about 18 grains of that, and using Remington number 10 caps. So let's get to work. Put the gun on half cock. Alright, get a load of powder. Dump it in the chamber. I'm going to take a felt wad, cover the chamber with it. I pre-seed it with this pen just to get it straight. They always want to go in crooked. Put that in. I'm going to take a 375 ball. Now, as you can see, this loading lever is so stubby it's worthless. So I use this product called a Slick's Hand. It's made by the same guys that make Slick Shot nipples. And what it does is it fits over the loading lever, right, and it gives you
the additional leverage you need to be able to seat it. So, alright, so that's one. And I'm going to seat 4 more, and then we'll be good to go. Okay, the chambers are all loaded. Let's get them capped. I use this Ted Cash capper. Remington number 10 caps. Been using this capper for like 100 years. I think the spring is starting to get a little loose in it, but still works great. Oops, see that? Spoke too soon. That loose spring made me spit a cap out. I have to put it out with my thumb. There we go. See that? I went bragging on this thing and now it's giving me a hard time. Okay, so last thing I do is I seat every cap firmly with a dowel. And now we're ready to shoot. I'll just put it on the dreaded empty chamber. And there we go. Well, poor Evil Roy has been out here on his own through a pretty brutal winter. So why don't we take Captain Schaeffer and see if we can warm Roy up. This will be my first time shooting Captain Schaeffer. So I honestly don't know where it's hitting. I'm assuming it's going to shoot pretty low, but we'll see. Yep, pretty low. I'll tell you what, that's not bad for a little short barrel revolver. Yep, pretty low. I got asked the other day why I shoot these old revolvers one-handed. And as this fellow said, is it more accurate that way? Or are you just hard-headed and old-fashioned? And I guess the answer is probably B. I like to shoot historical guns the way they would have been shot in their own historical period. So even though I know you can say, well, I'm sure there were smart guys that shot with 2 hands, and I'm sure there were too. But without a doubt, most people shot handguns one-handed up until Jeff Cooper changed the world. And I shoot modern guns two-handed, but I typically shoot my single actions with one hand. Now, the first part of that question was, is it more accurate? And I'm going to tell you quite honestly, it is not less accurate to shoot with one hand. In fact, I had this conversation with one of my editors, John Sundra, years ago, who was the editor of Peterson's Handguns and then Gun World. And I told him that I could quite often shoot more accurately with one hand than with 2. And, you know, John's view is there are fewer muscle groups to control when you're shooting one-handed. And I don't know if that's true or not, but anybody can shoot one-handed well. Now, what I find is I can shoot with equal accuracy, one-handed or two-handed, but I can shoot better, faster with 2 hands. So like in a modern self-defense situation, I would certainly always shoot with 2 hands. Or if you're doing IDPA or IPSC, UPSC, whatever they call it now in the United States, I always shoot that with 2 hands. But when I'm doing the single actions, I just prefer to shoot them with one hand. That just means I shoot slower. I mean, anybody who shot with me in a SAS match knows that you can time me with a calendar. but that's the way I like to do it. So I'm going to do it right now. Well, we're out here in Swing City, and we got Swingin' Sam and the Circle Gang out there, and I'm going to try to clean up the town with the Captain Schaeffer Colt Navy. Now, this gun is shooting way high, which is not too surprising because it has the absolute tiniest little barleycorn front sight you can get. So I'm going to have to use some real Kentucky elevation to hit these targets. So if I don't hit any, that's why. But that won't stop me from trying. Okay, I had to aim like a foot underneath those targets to hit them. But I got it figured out. You know, I have got an embarrassing number of 1851 Navy revolvers in my collection. I've got regular models, I got London models, I've got 36s, I got 44s. I don't even want to tell you how many I've got, but I could probably outfit a troop of cavalry. So, I need another one like I need a hole in the head. I have this one on loan from E.M.F. In the gunwriters world, we call that T&E, test and evaluation. And right now, I'm fighting with myself to keep from writing a check to buy it. That's how much fun this thing is. It has truly been a hoot. So, if you're looking for something a little bit fancier and a little bit shorter than your typical 1851 Navy, boy, it's hard to beat this. I mean, it shoots like a dream. I didn't have but one misfire all day, and you're going to see that coming up when we do the bad guys view, and that was because of a cap sucking incident. I'm gonna show you that, the results of that in a minute. But that's it, and I've put now 30-40 rounds through this today, goofing around with it, shooting the steel, and it just keeps running. So, I really think that Pietta and E.M.F have a winner here. So I hope you like it. And let me go show you that cap sucking issue I was telling you about. You know, I've had some videos about a situation on Colt type revolvers I call cap sucking, where the hammer pulls a cap, a spent cap, off of the nipple and drops it into the frame, where it then falls and squashes it flat and jams up the whole gun. And I've told you that a fix for that is to polish the face of the hammer, and particularly to deburr and defang the safety slot. Well, I want to show you kind of what I'm talking about. This gun's been pretty good, but I just got done firing it. I'm going to pull this off, and if you're going to see in here, I have got, it just dropped off, I had a cap stuck on here that hit the other cap, and I've got a cap fragment right inside there.
Right, so here's that spent cap that was stuck in the hammer. And if you can see that tab of metal that I'm pointing to with that little pointer, that blew back off of that cap right into the safety notch of the hammer. That is the safety notch being molded by a cap. It blew into there, and because it was a little bit burry, it held on to it, and then that cap couldn't fall off of the hammer. And that's the issue with cap sucking, and that's why I've got that fix that has you deburr everything. Well, let's finish off with the bad guy's view of the Captain Schaeffer revolver.